Welcome, everybody, to Sense of Humor podcast, where we talk anything pop culture or anything that interests us. I'm your host, Griffshock, or Travis. With right here next to me is my buddy, Splasune or Tyler.
Hello.
So today's episode, I plan on talking about movies, but more specifically on the fact of when can we get a new type of movie. Not more of so of the fact of like I mean like yeah we get new movies that come out every year, but I mean I want like a completely different like a whole new movie, not something that's already been done in the past, not something that's a copyright or not a copyright, a what's it called?
You
It's
want do you want an original idea or do you want a
yeah.
new genre? Is that what you're saying?
Kind of both. I'm okay with like getting new Marvel movies. That's okay, or something like I just want something that's completely original. I don't want like I don't mind. I'm not gonna say I hate them. I don't mind the idea of having like spin-offs or um um I don't know. I'm spacing on these words. I was going over them earlier.
No, you're good, man. Go ahead.
Fuck, what's it called? What do you call it when when a movie has a prequel, a sequel or a
Oh yeah,
prequel?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Prequel, yep.
yeah.
I
Like I don't,
mean,
I think they're fun, but I want something
so
new.
yeah, I think I agree with you on that. Like, and I think I know what you're kind of getting at. Like a good example would probably be Disney's like live action remakes. Like they just keep making the same movies like that weren't even or they were around like 20 years ago, like Lion King. That was like I never even watched the live action, to be honest, and now they're actually doing a prequel film uh going or revolving around Mufasa and Scar, which is interesting, but it's not an original idea like you were saying. Like
Yeah,
it's a very what's the word? I don't know. I think it's more of a money grab at this point. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's interesting that, or even creative, that some people think like, oh yeah, like this needs a prequel. This needs a behind the scenes or what happened before or whatever. And in some cases, I do agree. Like, I think a great or movie that needs a prequel or at least a prequel series is probably something like The Incredibles. Like we never see
that's true.
um, Mr. Incredible's upbringing or Elastigirl's like upbringing or Frozone. Like they could literally do a show centered around those three characters, make them the main characters, and like kind of show them their origin story, like whether that's how they got their powers, how they got their suits, how they got their names, etc., etc. Um, but in terms of new, I do agree with you. Like they're like because the thing nowadays is companies are afraid of new. Like they're afraid to do new films because
Of
a lot of
money.
people are kind of set in stone with a lot of franchises already. Like there's no new and upcoming franchise. And as far as genre goes, I'm actually gonna look this up real quick so I can let you put some more words into it because this is your hosting and everything.
Yeah,
But
I mean
um,
like there's I was looking at it. I saw a movie Crow, and I was like, wow, this movie. Like at first I thought it was something new, but it came out a while ago, like a long while ago. And it's basically like they just remade it but with new graphics. Which I mean, I'm not gonna hate on that. I actually love the new I love the movie styles that we have now. The movies and the graphics are incredible. I mean, they are fantastic. But I just like I want something completely different. I mean, like I would love more backstories. I would love more like rising up stories or more like for example like like if Toy Story did something where it was like how the magic of the toys were able to even come to life or something like that, I'd be interested to see how that happened. Or like Mike Monsters Inc., for example, the TV show they had for it, I enjoyed that. It's not a movie, but it's a TV show and it has to do with the movie. But the fact that they made it into a show, basically showing what happened to them after the movie and after college and everything is fantastic.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with you on that. And I mean, in terms of it being a TV show, I don't mind that either. What I do mind is them milking a franchise. Like,
Yeah.
kind of going back to Toy Story, what you were saying, like, in my opinion, it should have ended at three. Like,
I agree with
four
you.
was average. For all you Toy Story lovers, forgive me for like saying this,
For
but
pooping on it.
number four was kind of mid. Like it really wasn't that great. Um, but number five, and yes, they are doing a number five. It's supposed to be about iPad kids, which for those of you
Oh
who probably,
goodness.
yeah, for those of you who don't really understand
Oh
that
no.
term or who need a refreshing on that term, um, so kids that grew up with technology or kids that learn like, oh, technology is
This is the way of
like the
life.
new cool thing. Yeah, like it's the thing that occupies your kids more than like toys and whatever have you. And I have a couple of siblings that I think were iPad kids. Like my two youngest brothers, I would probably consider iPad kids, or at least the youngest. Um, I rarely see him playing with toys. Like he's always either watching a show or watching his iPad or playing a video game. And that's not to say like that's a bad thing, but like I grew up with action figures. I grew up with Legos. I grew up with
Bionicles.
yeah, Bionicles, Hero Factory, like all that good shit. Like I grew up with that stuff. As far as me as an adult now though, like in terms of like action figures, I more so collect them now. Like I'm looking all around my room. I literally have Funko Pops everywhere.
I can
Um
relate.
yeah, so like that's the most it gets to, but I still have like that seed that was planted in me from the action figures and Legos and whatever. Like I even still occasionally will buy a Lego set. Like I'm
Yep.
actually considering getting another one soon too. And it's just cuz that seed that was planted in my brain, like that's what I grew up with. Like, sure, I had video games, and then later on in my life, iPads and phones like that had games on them, but nothing like exponential. Like there was that game where you broke bricks with like the tiny ball, like that would bounce off the platform. Like I don't remember what it
Mm-hmm.
was called, but like yeah, that
That's
was the
fun.
phone game back then. Like that, it wasn't nothing special. Not to say mobile games are anything special already, anyways, but
But yeah.
anyway, back to movies though. Like, sorry, I kind of took us off
Oh,
track, but
that's fine.
so back to movies and genres. I was looking it up, but oh yeah, first off, I kind of wanted to talk about The Crow a little bit. Wasn't The Crow the original one? Wasn't it? The main character was played by Bruce Lee's son, if I'm not mistaken, like
I
Brandon Lee or something like that.
I believe so. See,
Mm,
I didn't dig too much into it. Like I saw the new movie come out and I was like, that looks really good. And then I did look at the yeah, it came out in 1996 for the original film. And I was like, that's weird. Um, original character. I don't even know the original. I've never seen The Crow, so I don't know the original character's name or the main character's name. Um, I'm gonna take a big guess and say it's him. Is Ash Con or is that Ash Convert? Oh no, it's Vincent Price. I think is the character who played the original Crow character.
interesting. Yeah, I Let's see.
Yeah, Vincent Price. Yeah, Vincent Price is the main character who played the main character in the show.
The Crow.
And just witness a murder. They are captured by. Yeah, I forgot how dark this movie is. Yeah, I think yeah, The Crow. The Crow,
Yeah.
City of
So the
Angels.
Crow. So there was a Crow movie before that in 1994.
Oh,
Um,
94 is what. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
I didn't.
Brandon Lee. Yep, Brandon Lee is the son of Linda Lee Cadwell as well as Bruce Lee, martial arts idol. It's kind of sad because they both died pretty young too. Like I'm looking at this right now. Brandon Lee died at age 28, and he
Wow.
and that was the year before his movie came out. Dang, that's kind of sad.
It is very sad. It's sad to look upon like older movies and think of all the great, fantastic actors or people who could have amazing potential in movie careers and they don't make it that long.
Yeah, I mean Bruce Lee, he died at age 32. So his son, Brandon Lee, was 4 years younger than he was when he died. That's really sad. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't really watch or I haven't really watched many of those like old school martial arts films, but I wouldn't mind going back and trying them, but um and then back to kind of the movie side of things. I was looking up like what was the latest like what's the newest genre created? I couldn't find a really straight answer, but
I mean, I
the
think it's
story
leaning more towards comedy right now, right?
I mean, I would imagine so, but like is that the most modern like genre? Like I mean, I think sci-fi's been around since like the
Yeah,
1900s,
yeah.
20s or 30s like
I think it's like sci-fi and action pack is what was like the main thing
yeah.
for a while. Because you had Terminator, which is sci-fi action, and then you had Jurassic Park, which is sci-fi action. I think I don't know. It's like
So
most of the original cool like well knowns are like mostly have to do with like action.
yeah. I mean, action's definitely up there for me, especially yeah, like superhero films and sci-fi. Like,
Oh,
I'm curious if superhero by itself is considered a genre, but here's the ones that like I found in terms of storytelling. So there are fairy tales, myths, legends, horror, comedy, science fiction, fantasy, romance, historical, memoir, or biography. Um, and then, according to this, the most popular genre is fantasy,
ooh,
which I
okay.
think makes the most sense.
In today's day and age, yeah, 100%. Like as of right now, it makes sense. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I just want something like I don't mind them doing what we're doing with the movies now. It's just like
Something
it,
fresh.
yeah, something fresh, something like just straight off of the pan, something that like someone's like, "Oh, we've never done this before," not like, "Oh, well, this is like mimicking DC heroes or this is mimicking Mission Impossible or James Bond or something that's completely 100% all on its
I
own.
I will say the only problem with that is you can make a whole new story with different types of characters no matter what. There will always be that one comparison to another franchise or film or whatever because unfortunately original ideas are hard to come by and even I would even argue that original ideas are like somewhat impossible at this point. Like I think from like I don't know, as far back as storytelling goes, like ever since then the human race is just kind of like especially in more modern times and then like maybe the 1950s, that's when like well, I shouldn't say just the 1950s. I'm sure there were well, I know there was film and stuff back then, but like books and literature in general. Like I'm pretty sure Tolkien, like if I'm not mistaken, he wrote Lord of the Rings in like 1920. Like let's see, um,
I think he did. But yeah, I get what you're
1937.
saying. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
So 1937 was The Hobbit. Okay, so and then Lord of the Rings,
What came first in
1938 and
books? Was it
1955.
Hobbit or Lord of the Rings?
I uh
Like book wise.
first here we go. Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. It looks like Tolkien wrote The Hobbit before he wrote Lord of the Rings, which makes sense
Okay.
because it did
Yeah.
come first. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people would probably misconceive that because, I mean,
Movies.
yeah, the movies, and I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, yeah, you should always go off the movies, but I
No.
mean, I feel like that's fair. I feel like some people were like, oh, yeah, like, I mean, actually, if you think about it, like George Lucas, when he made Star Wars, 4 through 6, which originally they weren't 4 through 6, they were 1, 2, and 3. But
Hmm.
before that, the reason why he wanted to save the prequels is because he said he didn't feel like they had the technology yet to produce those films. And then when CGI came out, and I know a lot of people are going to shit on him for that, but that's when CGI kind of first became a thing. So you can't really
Yeah.
knock the guy for like going
Testing it.
fully into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was really like I
I mean,
really liked Star Wars. I feel, and no offense to anyone who still likes Star Wars, I feel Disney's kind of ruined it at this point. Like, I
yeah,
like
they
some of their
prolonged it and ruined it.
projects. Yeah. I like some of their stuff, like The Mandalorian. I like Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order. Like, I like some of their projects. It's just a lot of them just feel so half baked. It's because you don't hire fans, you hire people who you think are like, oh, they're good writers or good directors. And sure, maybe they are, but this is for a franchise that's, I don't know, it
Been
goes
going
all the
on
way
for a
back to
while.
1970s. Yeah, so like my dad was born when Star Wars came out. And, you know, that franchise alone like that and Spider-Man I grew up with, and it's kind of heartbreaking honestly to see like and kind of going back to what you were saying about like milking the crap out of a franchise where it there's nothing left. Like there
Yeah.
or at least they're not willing to do or give us the right stuff. Like they don't give new ideas that feel fresh or feel good. Like they seem so rushed.
Yeah, yeah. If they feel rushed, and I feel like they also just like, oh, well, this has already happened, but people already like it, so let's make it happen again, but with a little bit of a flip, or somebody else can do what they did, and like it's the same theme, but it's repetitive. It's always repetitive and rushed.
Yeah, no, it Disney's really good about doing that with a lot of their franchises. And I'm sorry if there's any Disney fans listening, and
I
sorry
mean,
for shitting on
Disney's
Disney.
great. They have great movies. They
Yeah,
have
no,
great
they do.
stuff.
Like, and I'm really looking forward to some of their future projects that they've announced, like Zootopia 2. I'm actually curious for that one. Like, I
That
really
would be
liked the first
interesting.
one. Yeah, and then I guess like I'm not a huge fan on it, nor have I like watched the second one really. But Frozen's getting a 3 and 4 because apparently, they're going to go
Mhm.
deeper into the lore of that, which sounds a little interesting. But
Honestly,
other than
if
that,
they did, I hope they bring Tarzan into it because technically he's related.
no, that was a myth. That wasn't that wasn't
Ooh.
real.
I want to know who his parents are so bad.
Well, I know a lot of people
They
said
should go
that
into
his
his lore. They
parents.
should go back what to figure out his shit, his stuff is what they should do.
I mean, they kind of did that in Tarzan 2, because Tarzan 2 was a prequel. But I get what you mean.
Yeah, yeah.
If they, I mean, here's the
Like why
thing.
they
Oh,
went out there and everything. Yeah.
yeah, and also, so one of my favorite classics that's like way old, and I mean, if you guys couldn't tell, like one of my favorite animals is a fox. The fox isn't
Mm.
my favorite or okay, let me take a step back because my channel is literally fox themed. But um, so anyway, my favorite, like, or one of my favorite all time favorite. Oh gosh, I can't speak today.
It's
One of my
alright.
all time favorites, Disney wise, is Robin Hood. Like the original, like Robin Hood, where he's a fox, Little John's a bear, like all that. Like I loved that movie. They're trying to come out with a live action remake of that, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Like you don't need to do it live action. If you're gonna remake it, do it in the same style as Zootopia, because I
That would
mean,
be cool.
yeah, and apparent or according to I think some of the artists and directors of that movie, a lot of the style of the animals from that movie were based off of the old like Robin Hood movie. So I don't see why they couldn't do it again just in the Zootopia format or style. But
I
even
mean, they did a live action version of the Jungle Book, which the original one what came out what 67, and then they did a live action version that came out and this one's been my favorite. I mean, I've watched this movie. I at least I swear more than a dozen times as a kid growing up. Um, and it's a live action Jungle Book, but it came out in '94. Which the graphics weren't that great and everything, but it wasn't all CGI, so all the animals in it were real
wait,
animals.
they did a Jungle Book live action in '94.
Yeah, 1994. I had it on my VHS, my tape.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, yeah. I watched that movie all the time as a kid. I'd come home
Carl
and that would be
Elves
my
was here.
huh?
Carl, how do I pronounce that last name? He played um
Mowgli.
no, he played Wesley in The Princess Bride. He played Robin Hood in Robin Hood Men in
Oh, yeah.
Tights. I didn't know he was in that. He's a good actor. Like well, that's kind of cool. He plays Boone. I don't know who Boone is, but
Bill Murray's also in it too.
is he?
And then yeah, and Christopher Walken's in it.
Oh, you're
Um,
talking about the 2016 one.
oh yeah, no, I'm reading the wrong one. I clicked on Jungle Book and it's just got the same shit. It's just right next to each other, which is stupid.
I was gonna
I need to
say
type in
I
the name over.
do
If they were in there, I'd be like, huh?
I do like the 2016 one. I
I
think
haven't seen that one
in
yet.
in my personal opinion, because it has a different ending in that one than it does than the cartoon one. Like it has a different ending.
I mean, if you haven't
And
seen the '94, I don't know where you. I don't even know if it's on Disney, but if it
I
is, I mean, I
was
recommend it.
so the Jungle Book, the one that you're talking about. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up. It's not loading all of a sudden. There we go. Um, where would it say if it's Disney or not? I'm not.
I usually type in where can I watch
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Prime Video or Apple TV. What is on?
So probably not Disney, but here's the thing: Jungle Book wasn't even originally Disney. Disney just
Mm-mm.
took their own twist on it. like they do with a lot of like I mean old
Yeah, they
Disney
kind of
stuff.
buy
Like
over everything.
yeah, like Alice in Wonderland wasn't originally theirs. Mary Poppins, any of the
Um,
or most of the Disney princesses, like all that. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick, by the way. But yeah, keep talking. I'm actually
okay,
curious because this is a good topic. I'm actually glad you picked this one because it makes me want to bring up something in terms of storytelling. So I'll be right back.
okay. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they personally, in my opinion, brought back another mummy. I mean, okay, listen, I'd be a little, I would be a little upset, just a little bit, but I'd probably grow and adjust to the fact. But the Mummy and Scorpion King and the Jungle Book are like my main three. I loved those movies growing up. National Treasure, which is way far past this timeline, but the fact that the Mummy came out on my birth year, which is '99, if anybody doesn't know, um, I love it. I love those type of movies. And if I don't think I can't remember the last time they made a Mummy movie. Um, uh, Mummy movies. Um, I can't remember the last. I'm gonna look it up here. So I'm pulling it up. I don't care about that. Movies. So yeah, so the last one they had was '08, which I mean, to be fair, the main actor, his line kind of, Brandon, how do I say his name? Brandon Foster, uh, whatever his name is. He played in Journey to the Center of the Earth, but he kind of hasn't been playing in a whole lot of movies, um, lately at least. But even if they didn't make him the main character, I would be completely okay with it. I mean, honestly, by looking at the face of him in this, if they waited till Tom Holland got a little more older, you know, and kept the hairstyle, I could see him playing it. I mean, granted, Tom Holland has already played in Uncharted, and I thought that was a pretty good role for him. So if they did that or remade it, I know it's kind of going on the topic of having new movies. I also wouldn't mind them doing a remake of The Mummy. So. That's my opinion on that. I don't think I've seen. Yeah, no, I've definitely seen. I can't say I haven't. I have definitely seen it. I definitely remember watching the Mummy, the movie Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I remember watching that shit at my parents' house on a Saturday morning because Saturday mornings my dad would take me and my brother down to the gas station and we would get donuts. My brother and I would usually get two or three each. We would get chocolate milk. True Moo was my dad's favorite. And then we would always go home, watch a movie in the morning, all three of us together, just the guys, just the boys, and we watched them. We would watch random movies. We'd watch older movies though. We wouldn't watch a whole bunch of new movies. I mean, this was a new movie, but we'd watch like The Mummy. We would watch adventure, action-packed type movies, and that's what I kind of miss. I mean, I don't hate the new Journey to the Center of the Earth movies. They're a little, but
I'm
the new.
back.
All right, all right. I was just talking about if they re. Have you ever seen any of the mummies, like the mummy movies?
No. I went on the Mummy ride when I went to I think it was Universal Studios, but I never watched the movie.
Okay, because
That was the one with Brandon Fraser, right? Or Brandon?
Brendan Fraser, or however you say it. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah. I loved that movie growing up. It was one of my favorites. But I was saying while you were gone or away, I was saying that if they ever did remake it. Like I have a picture of him or a picture of the whole movie on my phone. Um, but I think this is kind of a common thing with Tom Holland. I mean, it's very common. He's a very good actor. He's a very young actor, which is fantastic. But to me, in my opinion, he would play a good role on it. I mean, he's already played what, Uncharted, right?
Yeah, so you think he could probably play like the main character of the new Mummy movies if
I
they
mean,
did him?
yeah, if I mean, I would say it would definitely have to wait till Tom Holland's a bit more older and more like more matured look type style because in the movie he is decently older. He's not like Tom Holland. I know he's not young, but he's young. He's too young to be that actor. But if they waited a little bit, it would be perfect, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, like let's see. So Brendan Fraser.
I also always thought like Scorpion King and the Mummy were always. I mean, they're technically together. They're not at the same time, which is weird. It's a weird thing. If you haven't seen the movie, it's hard to explain. But I don't think it's probably been like debunked or proven wrong, but my mind, I just can't comprehend it.
So Tom Holland is 28 years old, and Brendan Fraser was he was 31 when he did the
Oh,
Mummy.
okay, then yeah, I mean, yeah, give
So
it
he's
like
definitely getting there to what your
a few more
expectations are.
years.
Like, yeah. But I think honestly, in the next few years, he's gonna be kind of stuck with Spider-Man, and I hate to, kind of
Yeah,
pin this on him. Like, I love his Spider-Man, but the problem with those films or like that franchise in general, if any of the actors or in any popular franchise ever, like if you own or if you're mainly known for that role,
you're stuck with it.
yeah, I was gonna say that's what people think of when I was watching the Uncharted movie. I thought Peter Parker instead of Nathan Drake. Like, and I hate to be that
I
guy. I
agree. I
really
agree with you
do.
there. Yeah, I did.
But
I did the same thing. I was like, wait, am I in the wrong movie? And then I was like, oh, okay, no, I'm in the right movie.
admittedly, they are both action movies. They're both, and I mean, I bet some people thought the same way about other action stars too that were in a lot of movies and projects. Like, I'm sure, like Tom Cruise probably got that a lot. Like, people are like, "Am I watching Mission Impossible or am I watching Top Gun? Am I watching, whatever, whatever?" Like, it's the same thing. Is like a lot of actors get into these bigger roles, and then they're kind of stuck with that under their resume as like, "Oh, you were Spider-Man." It's like, "Yeah, I also did like this project and this project as well." And they're like, "Yeah,
Especially if
yeah,
they're
but
really
what
proud of it.
Spider-Man? Like, yeah, let's talk about that one though. Like, you were Spider-Man." And I mean, even Tom Holland was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to play Batman when I'm older." And I'm like, I mean, I wouldn't be
Sure, but
opposed, but yeah, like maybe Terry McGinnis, maybe you could play a Batman Beyond, but
that would be interesting.
yeah, but
Like a
again,
Red
it's
Hood or
kind of
something.
like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's
Like, I mean, I think the Batman movies, honestly, I like Batman, okay? I think Batman's a really, really cool superhero or hero, you know?
mm,
But they just can't ever stick with the same freaking Batman. There's always a
well, I
different
think
actor, which I don't hate it, but like they'll have Batman where it's the same actor twice, and then they're like, oh well, here's a whole new character.
I think the problem with that though is that I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I think the problem with that is mainly Warner Brothers and DC because they are the ones. There was a post I was looking at earlier, but anyway, it was comparing like all the characters that have had reboots or whatever have you, and it like I totally what was it? It was like there was like nine Batmans or seven Batmans or something. There's been like six Supermans, three Spider-Men, but only one Wolverine, and it's like that's so
That's
true
true.
though.
That's way
Like,
too true.
yeah, so it's like I don't know. I kind of agree with you on that though. Like that's kind of the other or that kind of relates to what you were saying about remakes, like reboots. Reboots are remakes of previous characters that have already been done and don't get me wrong, like there's nothing wrong with reboots, especially what they did in No Way Home, like adding
Oh yeah, that was
Toby and
great.
Andrew to kind of, follow up the legacy of Spider-Man. And me being a super Spider-Man shill, like I will, glaze Spider-Man on anything because he's my favorite character. Like not just favorite superhero, he's like one of my favorite characters of all time. And I'm actually rewatching one of my favorite Spider-Man shows right now, or not right now, but like I've started rewatching it over the week. Um, and I just forget how good like a lot of his like, media is. Um, and you know, I really hope that with Marvel, I think they know what they're doing more than any other company, to be honest. Like they've had a few
Yeah.
stinkers here and there. Like some of their TV shows, in my opinion, weren't that great, or some of their movies the past few years. Like ever since Endgame and No Way Home, I've just kind of like, you know.
Yeah, I've kind of been on the fence with some of the movies. That's why I haven't seen this Deadpool movie. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but
No, no, you're good. Go ahead.
like I haven't seen this Deadpool movie. So like right now I'm kind of like on the fence with Marvel. Like I'm not saying I hate Marvel or I'm never gonna watch them again. I will 100% always watch all the original Marvel movies that I grew up loving or the ones that I do previously still like. But the ones that are like I'm on the fence because they've had so many that I'm like, well, that's cool, but you could have done more. Or I've this is this is all right, but like I haven't seen this Deadpool movie, but from what I've heard from you and basically the entire world on my cell phone,
Yeah,
it is
no,
a
it's
fantastic
it's
movie.
it's good. It's one of the ones that I'm like, okay, Marvel is back. Like Marvel's doing great again. Like it's back. Star Wars has yet to do that for me. The last time I thought about that about Star Wars was Mandalorian season 3, which I know a lot of people were kind of half and half on, and
I like
Jedi
that one.
Survivor. Jedi Survivor was one of the things that was like, oh hell yeah, Star Wars is back. Or the newest season of Bad Batch. Like that I was like, yeah, it's
I
back.
haven't seen that one yet.
It's good.
I kind of stopped watching the TV series after Boba Fett. I won't lie. Boba Fett kind of like killed it for me
Yeah,
there.
Boba Fett wasn't amazing. Like, although I will go back and watch it occasionally, I'm like, man, this is still so much better than. Like, it's not saying a lot. There's a lot of future Star Wars projects that have like absolutely been garbage, and it's unfortunate. But
I mean, I thought Han. No. So, what was it? The one with Obi-Wan. I'm stupid. It's right there in the
oh,
name.
the Kenobi show.
Yeah, that was great. I loved that. I thought that was fantastic. That brought me
I
back. I
thought
forgot that came out after.
I'm very half and half with that. Like half of the show was good to me, and then the other half was just like, man, they
The
should not have done that. Like I don't
the
know,
fight
like
scene was my favorite part. The fight scene.
oh yeah, absolutely. Like the flashbacks and everything were great, but
Yeah,
in terms of like the new stuff, like again, like they implement this new stuff, and see that's I think one of the problems is a lot of us fans who've kind of stuck with this story for so long people are afraid to implement new things, including new stories, because they're afraid of like what fans of previous like franchises or even franchises that are being either rebooted, remade, um, or added sequels or whatever. A lot of people are going to be like, well, that it's not as great as the first one, or it's
yeah,
copying this, or
it
it's
wasn't supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like this, but okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I do hate that mentality of like, oh, they should have changed this, they should have done that, because at the end of the day, it is a final product. So whatever happens is supposed
happened.
to happen. but that doesn't mean you have to like it. Like the sequel trilogy for me, it happened, but I don't like it. I don't like the sequel trilogy. I'm one of the people that does not like the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Mm.
I love the Clone Wars. I love the original six films. I love The Mandalorian. Boba Fett was meh. Like,
It was all
yeah,
right.
Kenobi was meh.
It had so much
Andor,
potential.
yeah. Andor was good, but it didn't feel like Star Wars. Like, there's just so much
Yeah, I
of
haven't
that.
seen. I started one episode of that, and I was like 10, 15 minutes into it, and I'm like, is this even Star Wars? I mean, like, yeah, I can tell it's Star Wars, but at the same time, I'm just like, is
Yeah,
it
no,
though?
it doesn't feel like Star Wars. Like, so, but yeah. Um,
Like,
yeah,
I feel like what they should they like, I'm okay if they like they should have a certain amount of movies that come out and then just stop, like you said, like we said earlier, milking it. Like, don't milk the episodes for too long, but or not episodes, sh movies for too long, and then they should just stop there and be like, well, people liked it all the way up to here. Well, how about we go back and we show them like, well, like like the villain's perspective on like what the villains went through or something like that. You know, I
I
feel like
mean,
that would be interesting.
I think Marvel's trying to do that with Agatha all along, but I wasn't even a huge fan of WandaVision either, so I
That
don't
was
even
all
know if I'm gonna
right.
watch that.
It
Yeah,
was important, but it was all right.
yeah.
Like that's this is the thing about Marvel shows that have to do with movies. Like my thing about Marvel is I will watch it regardless if the movie's ass or not. Pardon my profanity. Um,
No, you're good.
but I will watch it regardless if it's garbage or not because I want to know. Because like Marvel movies, you know, you watch it and it is usually important to the next movie that comes out. So I always watch like anything that has to do with it just to get like the understanding of what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, it's what was I gonna say? It's just, I mean, and again, it's a matter of opinion. I mean, we're kind of expressing our opinion, but I think a lot of people do feel the same way. Like, I feel like the film industry just doesn't know what they're doing right now, as unfortunate as that is, and as unfortunate as it is for me to admit. Because, I mean, and I think this could apply to all storytelling formats, like not just movies, but books, comics, TV shows, movies, short videos on YouTube, whatever have you, like fan films,
Yeah.
or even just short films like that are original ideas, or rather just like ideas that like, because that's the thing I think a lot about when it comes to original ideas. Original ideas are like a mix of a bunch of old ideas, and like I'm sure a lot of people don't think of that in mind, and I'm one of them. Like heck, a lot of my story, a couple of my stories actually, are inspired by like movies or shows or comics or whatever that I've read. Um, and it's like a lot of the things, like especially when I was younger, I liked to kind of do like fan stories. Like I would take characters that I already loved and I'd put them in scenarios that I think like worked or I liked. Like I did a Marvel and DC collab kind of book telling or whatever, or like um back in, I think it was elementary or high school. We had an English class where you had to write in a journal, and you could either write about your day or you could write a short story. And I would write a story that would just constantly go, and every time, um, or every day, I would write like a new part of the story um, rather than write about my day because I loved writing fiction, and I'm actually currently writing a book, and I'm also writing a comic book with one of my friends from work, and we're both really excited to work on that. But the scary thing, kind of what we're talking about right now for a lot of us writers or up and coming storytellers, is that there's no original ideas. I know for a fact, like, a lot of our characters that we made are either parodies of other characters um, or whatever have you. Like, we'll make it as original as possible. Like, because that's the other problem too. Is like some of these stories are are original ideas to us, but it's also a lot of inspiration behind it. Because I mean, we looked at a lot of the comic book characters we already loved, and we kind of like changed them a little bit. Like in our story, we have a Superman like character, we have a Batman like character, we have
Yeah.
um like um we even made some of our characters of our own. I'm actually do you remember the comic book we were gonna write like way back when in high school?
Oh yeah.
Like all
Yeah,
of
I
us,
remember that. Yeah.
our whole friend group, by the way, for anyone like I don't know if we've told this story before, but we were
Good
gonna
old
write a
days.
comic book. Yeah, we were gonna write a comic book as a friend group. I was kind of in charge of drawing, and then I had all of them kind of create their own characters, and I would draw them for them, and then we would put it all together, like, and make our own like Kid Avengers, basically. Like, it
I
wasn't the
think you had us.
Avengers.
Yeah, I think you had us like write down like not a paragraph, but like a little story about like our characters. And I won't say I will say this. I did kind of hate it because I hate writing. And like like hate
No, that's
I
fair.
hate writing, and I wrote it out, and I think I was in like Mentor or the computer lab with Gary, and I was like, I don't know why I'm asking him, Garion, for help. I'm like, yo, I need help with this. And he goes, don't ask me. And continues playing on his computer. But I remember just like I think I gave you a piece of paper with it.
I know, like, it's funny because like, and I know this definitely distinguishes all of our personalities for sure, because like I think just about everyone I talked to, like, all you guys hated English class, but I loved it. I loved writing. I
I only
loved
liked it for the free movies I gotta watch.
I was gonna
That's
say the
it.
movies were fun, and then like I loved the reading part. I loved a lot of it, and then when we got to do our own writing projects rather than like a book report, like I loved that. But yeah, no, I didn't like book reports, but I did love the original writing ideas and whatnot. Um, and that's just kind of translated to my life now. Like I really do love um like what I'm doing or what I'm trying to do rather right now. Like I love making things. I love creating things. And like even this podcast is just one of those products of an idea that I've had for a long time, and I'm glad like to finally do it. Like this is only our second episode too. Like but I am very grateful for where we are right now, especially with like again, this topic really is really important not only to me but like I'm sure plenty of other people that hopefully are listening. Like it, especially for all you up and coming writers. Like here's the thing: don't be don't be distraught or just like straight off the path of like your idea just because someone says or points out something that might make you feel insecure about the idea. Like I have plenty of people at my work that just either tell me, "Yeah, that's a bad idea," or you could do better or whatever, and it's just like, whatever, man. It's my idea, and not everyone has to love it. Not everyone, has to appreciate the work, but I'm still going to do it because I appreciate the work, and I'm sure there will be plenty of people that will too. Like me and my friend that are writing this comic, like we're really excited to do this. Like we really are. And me and Travis here, like we're really excited. Like I literally texted him this morning. I was like, "You ready for part two? Let's do this!" Like, I was really excited to see what his topic was, and I'm very pleased with the topic. I'm glad you chose it because it's really
Yeah.
exciting to talk about, especially as a storyteller or wannabe storyteller myself. Like, um, as disheartening as it is, like as we talk about like Hollywood and their supposed failure of like not creating original ideas or just going back to old stuff, like, you know,
I mean,
I don't know.
like I've heard apparently this is a huge rumor. I mean, it's Hollywood, but like I've heard that like apparently Hollywood and film or obviously filmmaking is never gonna I don't think ever gonna really die because it's kind of like the future of the future, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but like people are saying that Hollywood is starting to die. Like original Hollywood is starting to die.
I'm
Like
honestly
show
fine with that.
business. Like they're saying
If
show business type things are gonna start dying. Like movies are gonna take over, and like people going on tours are gonna start dying off, and things like that. I'm slightly okay with it because technically, I mean, I hate the fact that I rely on my phone so much, but I'm okay with that. But like, I don't have to go to a concert to see it on my phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, here's the other thing too is like I'm not saying this out of spite or anything. Like I really do hope like Hollywood at least takes a turn for the better. Like especially paying actors and writers and everyone in the industry like a little bit more. Like give them what they deserve is all I have
Yeah.
to say. Like
Give
there's a
give them give
reason
them what they're
why.
credit for.
Yeah, and I'm not to get political or anything like that, but like the Writers Guild and them going on strike and all that, I think that was a little reasonable because they're probably not getting paid enough. Like they really probably aren't. Like I think there's plenty of jobs that aren't getting paid enough, like teachers and stuff. Like they don't get paid enough, especially
No.
not to deal with a lot of the bullcrap they probably have to deal with.
And the fact that
But
they're raising kids uh, for the potential future of a country. Yeah, it's
yeah, exactly.
ridiculous.
So, um, but yeah, like I do hope the best for the future and everything, obviously, but as entertainers ourselves, or at least want to be entertainers,
Yeah.
it's kind of important to bring up originality, I guess, because that's the other thing too. Anyone that's kind of like straying away from like, like, oh, but this idea is taken or whatever, like, go for it. You know what? Screw it. Screw what other people think. If
Hmm.
they're going to heavily compare it to something, whatever. As long as you enjoyed the work and you get a big enough franchise or fan base or whatever to kind of like build it up with you, who cares what like those people that say like you suck think? Like it really doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Also, like I will say this though, don't go and straight up copy something either though.
Yeah.
Like
No,
there have been
that's
like dead ass copies of things and it's just like really bad. Like they're
yeah,
really
that's
really bad.
huge legal issues. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say not just legal issues but like just basically
It's just straight
taking
up rude.
something that is the same. Yeah, I was going to say you're basically taking someone's work that they probably worked hard on and then just throwing it back in their face with like this terrible parody. Like
Like here's my thing. Like I don't hate. I don't want to say I necessarily hate. If I said it before, I take it back. But like I don't want to say like I necessarily hate like rewrites or prequels or sequels. I mean, there are some that I dislike because hate's a very strong word, but like I think
yeah.
like if they had more of like a unique like a unique characteristic or unique storyline or unique like their own personal unique like attribute to the story, I think that would be perfectly fine. I'd be more interested in that. I don't want something that's like copy paste type thing. I want something that's unique and more open to like their personality, you know?
Yeah, and I mean that's very much what me and the guy I'm writing the comic book with. Like we're very on point with each other. We're like, okay, this is our character. They may have similar abilities to characters people already know, but this is our original character. I'm sure maybe somewhere out in the world, like someone's drawn something so similar or whatever. Or maybe not. Maybe we're lucky enough to like having come up with such original characters that it just like it clicks with people. And I hope that's the case. I really do. But never say never. And also, like again, for those of you who are wanting, like it doesn't even have to be writing. Like if you have an original idea for a company or whatever have you, go for it. Literally go for it. Like no matter what anyone else tells you what to do, like if they're telling you down, like, nah, you can't do this, or someone else has already tried that, or whatever, screw them. Like they don't, they
They
don't
don't
control
understand.
your path. Yeah, they don't understand. Like, they're
It's your
probably
passion,
not.
it's your life.
They're probably not creative worth a damn. If like, they're probably just jealous of your work. Like, heck, I
Yeah,
had someone like not necessarily teasing me, but they're like, "You brought your drawing tablet to work," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's for my lunch break. I draw on my lunch break because I have ideas. Like sometimes in the middle of working, I'll just have an idea pop in my head, and I'm like, I should draw that, or I should write that down. Like I have a note app on my phone. Like I just I like telling stories. I like making characters. I like showing people my work. And I will eventually do it because I think I can. I'll connect my Instagram to my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel because I like if people like looking at art, like I do post there, and
they
I
are
will
really
admit
good.
I
I
appreciate
think
that,
they're
man.
really good.
Yeah, I really do appreciate that. Like, cause I put a lot of time into it too. Like that's the thing about a lot of us artists or writers or whatever have you. Like heck, again, passion project people, like people that work on something and put so much time into something, like, and they just want to show the world. Like we put a lot of time in it because we want people to know what we can do. Like not only for the sake of maybe our not survival, but like our consistency with our work. Like, like I love what I do and I will continue doing it until the day I die, I think. I don't think I'll ever outgrow anything that I currently do. Or at least I hope not. If it is in a sense like retiring, sure, but unless it's not retirement, I hope I never outgrow like writing stories or drawing characters or heck, this podcast. I hope this podcast goes on for years and years to come. Like I really do. I want this to keep going and like again, we're only on our second episode and it already feels like great to have like heck, we're almost up to an hour already. Like we have like 3 minutes before or 2 minutes now before the hour is over. Um But yeah, and I did adjust some settings because I did get some not like
Some
criticism in a bad
feedback.
way. Yeah, feedback. There you go. Not criticism. Feedback on how we could improve. So I tweaked some of the settings, especially for the audio, because I know like um I'm a little quieter and Griff Shock was a little bit louder, but
Yeah,
hopefully
oopsies.
yeah, no, that was my fault. I think I kept it um in settings with like how I normally play, but I hopefully fixed it. If not, that's okay. We'll keep trying until we get it right, but we're not going to stop either. Like we're not going back
No.
and re-editing. Like this podcast is going to be a natural thing for both of us. We're going to do this every Saturday. And heck, I encourage people to do this. If you guys have feedback live cuz here's the thing about like for people on YouTube, if you guys don't know, we do this live on my Twitch channel, and maybe we'll do it on a official like podcast Twitch channel instead at some point. But for now, we're kind of just doing it temporarily on mine. Um, we live stream it, and then I'll go back and hopefully edit it at some point because I do have some ideas for like an intro or whatnot. Um, but as of right now, like yeah, this is the format. We hope you guys enjoy it. Um like we're excited. Like we've been excited the past couple of weeks of just doing it, and like we
Oh
really look
yeah.
forward to
Oh yeah.
Saturdays. So
It's honestly my favorite part of the day. That's really the thing that gets me through the week. I'm like, well, I mean, other things get me through the week too, but like, I'll be sitting at work and I'm like, oh my gosh, 2 more days. Oh, one more day. Oh, Saturday. Here we go. Here we go.
yeah, like I said, I literally texted him this morning. I'm like, yeah, part two, let's do it. So yeah. Well, we're at the hour mark. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Travis? I kind of took a little bit of the
Oh,
end there, so sorry
no,
about
that's
that.
fine. That's the whole part of the podcast. We're supposed to share our emotions and our feelings or opinions, you know?
Yeah,
That's fine.
and I'm thankful for the topic, by the way. Like, really, really cool topic.
Oh, thanks.
Try to figure out what to title it, but I think I got something in mind.
I'm sure you always figure it out. You'll figure it out.
And I mean, yeah, if you have a episode title as well, like I'm down to hear it too. Like, well, this is obviously after we
After the
posted.
fact.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
this is an after thing, but
A little
yeah,
behind the scenes here, guys, but yeah.
yeah. So, any closing thoughts, Travis?
No, I just hope they enjoyed. That's really all I can really say.
I agree with you there. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys. You do the outro.
Oh man, I do the outro, man. I feel so honored.
You host. You do the outro. You do the intro and the outro.
All right. Well, I hope you guys didn't. I just butchered it.
I hope you guys in
um,
penis.
hope what?
I don't
No,
know. That's what I
no.
heard.
Well, oops. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.